and welcome to Belinda from Hello Resonance. I'm so excited to be sharing with you today the opportunity to sequence your grid with your Stargate. I will be facilitating a 13-day GRIDWORK sequencing Stargate journey from the 14th to the 27th of August. In this journey, I will be exploring the 13 laws of creation, the 13 sacred keys, and the 6 gateways, 7 chakras, the laws of the planets, and the 7 days of the week, and the 7 days of creation for 13 days. Each day is a law explored. So many of you know that I have been facilitating a lot of grid work lately for my clients, clearing dissonance within their stargates via grid work. One can clearly clear any dissonance associated to a client and their timeline through grid work. The feedback, breakthroughs, shifts, and connectedness which I have had from many clients have been absolutely extraordinary. I soon saw that this technique could unpack a multitude of layers while working off-grid. I started being led to client stargates and having access to clear dissonance associated with the 13 laws of creation, as well as the keys. I stepped in and the process started to unfold before me. So grid work. So what is grid work? Okay, basically, it is a framework which one can work off and create a new timeline. A grid usually has a sacred geometric pattern to it, and each point is referenced to a placement of association. While exploring grids for myself and clients, I came across this grid from another intuitive healer, Simone Matthews, which instantaneously came alive. And I started to see how so many ways that I could access and heal ourselves. I intuitively knew that I could deconstruct timelines and create new trajectories with her initial placements. I stepped in. It was like a stepping stone to one of the most beautiful, energetic alliances I have ever experienced and still witness to this day in each and every one of the grids that I work with. By working through a grid, we can gain the access to the quantum energetics of consciousness. The universal laws of creation apply. When you send in a frequency out into the field, it is received by the universe, and the universal laws apply, and the response is delivered back to you. It has no preference. Creation does not contemplate if your request is in light consciousness or shadow consciousness. It manifests the request, regardless. So basically, the energetic vibration request is matched in turn and returned to sender. This is how impactful your thoughts are. Your thoughts create things. You coerce your reality and you create your environment. Hopefully, you have all come to realize that your thoughts create things. Your emotions create the frequency for the thought to travel into the realms of requests. Manifestation is the complementary reaction to the thoughts and the emotion. So your emotions are the currency that you use for this exchange. Your reality is the creation of the original thought, charged with emotion, fear, or love. So, if you don't like the reality around you, if you do not like what you're seeing around you, stop creating it. Simple. How many of you knew that? I'm sure there's a lot of you that know that. Yes, we can, and we all should acquire self-help tools to deprogram us, to uncondition us, to reframe our belief systems in order to entrain our original thought process. And that is why it all starts with you. Those tools are a whole nother subject and rabbit hole on its own. And I assure you, I have journeyed it, applied many tools, and that is why I can say with all confidence, you, yes you create your reality. Now, with grid work, we can uncreate what we have created. Hooray! Deconstruct those timelines and create new timelines. How powerful does that feel? So, back to the grid. This is what it looks like. It is a Merkaba, essentially a 12-pointed star, tetrahedron. 2 stars of David, or Solomon's seals, but it is a 12-pointed star, nonetheless, tetrahedron. Do you know that this geometric shape, tetrahedron, is used for? Do you know what it's used for? They use this shape to store memory. And this is what we are going to work with. Do you know that when you take the laws, there are 13 different laws in this tetrahedron. When you take the laws and the frequencies applied to each, I have frequencies, there's frequencies inside here. When you apply them, the frequencies to each law and plot them out from the cosmic gateway, the earth gateway, and the heart chakra, you start the formation of the seed of life. That is at the grid of your core, and essentially at the core of your energetic makeup. Let's take this awareness one step further. When you are conceived, the fertilization process is the formation of the seed of life. You have the sperm, you have the egg, you have conception, fertilization. The two essentially become one, and then they split from 1 to 2 to 3 to 5 to 8. That sequence is also the Fibonacci sequence, because you take the previous number and add it to the new number, and that is how you get the spiral of life, the Fibonacci sequence, which is also part of the energetic realm and creation of the seed of life. Can you see the pattern? You are designed to keep reprinting this sacred pattern in all things. However, you don't always reprint it with the highest of intention. So we get a lesser than reality. By performing a grid house cleansing, you can start to reframe thoughts and emotions and create a greater reality. Hooray! Isn't that great? This is the basic outline of our our 13-day journey. Each point of the Merkaba is referred to a law of creation. As I said before, there are laws around here. There are 13 laws and 13 points. Okay. The 13th point is referenced to the center of the grid. Okay. There it is in the center. So you've got 12 on the outside, 13th one in the center. So let's have a look at the 13th point. This point is in the law of creation is the law of love. So you can't actually do anything unless it's through the law of love. So this point of the law of creation is the law of love, which is accessed through the three: the gateway, the cosmic gateway, the earth gateway, and the heart chakra. There are specific keys which resonate to these access points. Okay, I've got the keys in there. And access points. And by knowing which keys to use, one can be instrumental as one needs in removing dissonance and activating resonance. So in order to unlock areas that we have not been able to unlock, and to put away things that no longer serve us. Let's just briefly explore the law of love and the dissonance associated to it. When we know that our thoughts and emotions create our reality, if you're not operating from a heart-centered consciousness, then you're going to create a very different reality, probably one that with a lot of fear and which could be quite limiting. This grid work becomes this is where grid work becomes very powerful. Grid work with frequency has the ability to deconstruct associations to existing experiences and facilitate healing. So, if there is an experience involving the law of love in regards to your sacral chakra, okay, there's a point for the sacral chakra. Alrighty. So, in regards to the sacral chakra, you all know what I'm alluding to. Many of us have acquired these types of experiences. When we send a frequency which holds its own universal law, for instance, liberating fear and guilt, which would be this. When we send that into the space, and the space is being held in the purest of intention, the facilitator and you, for all concerned, what do you think could be the only outcome? The experience gets corrected, whether that is by surrendering the experience, releasing a person, or loving yourself. But essentially, you are turning the lead, dissonance, into gold, resonance. You become the alchemist of your own reality, your own grid, your own Stargate. Let's choose another example. Okay. The law of cause and effect. Where are we? Law of cause and effect. Through the sacral chakra, we assign frequency 741. There's a frequency for that. Connecting relationships. Connecting relationships. That's what this frequency is for. Now, that could be how you respond to money, your relationship with money. What's your belief around money? Very few people have a good relationship with money. It's time to correct that and reframe currency as an ally. It has been inverted, and we need to correct that inversion and reinstate its vibration correctly. This is our job. Can you see the potential that gridding brings? One can explore all of these laws through different intentions and reframe them with truths, enabling us to see ourselves for who we truly are and purely are. God's ultimate masterpiece. Doesn't that feel great? Is this making you excited? Because I know that this makes me very excited when I can see the potential of everybody and their stargates. I get a bit tearful about it. Okay. Can you actually fathom the potential of all these souls coming online with their stargates? What if aligning your stargate actually ascends your soul group? Now who's the captain of the starship? Okay, so once we have sequenced through all the laws and keys and gateways and chakras within your grid, you are now a vibrational sequence match to your stargate to align it. Before this, you were a sequenced match, but not a vibrational match. So you're just sitting there, but you're not utilizing it. No vibrational match. This journey through the laws, etc., has reframed your thoughts and emotions, bringing you into heart-centered consciousness and a vibrational match. So as you can see, facilitating and walking through the 13 laws of creation and 13 sacred keys and 13 gateways and chakras, now you are a vibrational match, engaging the frequencies. Your DNA comes online. Your consciousness expands even more because your DNA is upgrading and you now have the capacity to hold the higher dimensions in your vessel, your body. It's a coming home to the self. Now, all you have to do is work with integrity, with integration and vibrational sequence of your grid in Stargate by reprinting the now next moment. With a heart-centered consciousness, positive mindset, and owning all parts of you, and creating your new timeline. That's all you have to do. Sounds easy, eh? Okay. Let's all give it a try. It is when you see it manifesting. When you get the sequence right, you know how to hold the vibration. Get it sequencing. You'll see. Promise you. Okay. On one hand, I want you to see if you can see this. I'm still trying to get the excitement away from us. Okay. On the one hand, you are ascending into higher realms, okay, through consciousness. And on the other hand, because the DNA is activating and awakening within your physical being, you are pulling consciousness into the physical realm. Can you see the Star of David forming? Another patterning. As above, so below. Okay. I love this patterning. When you start journeying this and you become aware of the patterns, you will start to see the patterns. And when you see the patterns, you know you are an energetic vibrational match to manifesting your reality. Okay. Thus facilitating ascension. When you do this, you become part of the evolutionary process. Ascension is not a one-way exchange. It's two-way, or maybe even multiple. So just to recap, the journey starts on the 14th of August and finishes on the 27th of August. One law of creation will be addressed per day, with the corresponding associated keys, gateways, chakras, planets, days of creation, and frequencies will be cleared and reintegrated. So let's talk currency and exchange. All I ask is that you honor the process. I trust in you and in your integrity and you to contribute towards my work or to pay it forward. I would exchange this journey for $222 or a standalone private session at $77. However, if this is calling out to you and you do not have the currency to exchange, please do not let that deter you. Please message me on WhatsApp. You'll find my number below in the description. There is absolutely no exclusion in this journey. All I ask is that you honor the work and I will trust the process from there. I know how wonderful this process manifests and I am so humbled to share this with you and to hold the vibrational sequence of the shift, to witness you clear and shift and integrate and evolve to unlimited possibilities. So how do you join? You will see the information in the description below, but basically you're going to send me a WhatsApp with your full name and I will place you into the grid for the 13 days and I will actively work in conjunction with everybody else in unity and I will sync you in. I hope that has given you basic guidelines to what's basically the tip of the iceberg of what this work can do. But I hope that I have managed to not take up too much of your time and be able to give as much information as I can to make you inquire and get excited about this journey and sequencing in your grid and your Stargate. So I just want to thank you for the time for listening, and I'm so looking forward in facilitating this journey with you. Leave you with this. What else is possible and how much better can it get? Sending you so much love. Bye for now.